I actually wanted to start episode 8 of the Record Players podcast by asking a question. Did we pick the wrong size? In the 1940s, we largely, after the establishment of 78s, the record industry decided that 12 inches was the size of a standard LP. Were they wrong? I posit that if it had been, say, 2 inches longer, most of our CD problems would have, in the future, been solved, and we'd no longer have these vinyl problems where you could really fit most albums on a side and have better sound quality at this point. So why have we not simply come out with record players and records that can handle 2 more inches of vinyl and solve this problem?
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
You know, I never thought about that. And then I would kind of like to look up the history. Why 12-inch too? Like, who came up with that they decided 12-inch is the optimal size?
The answer is, from my understanding, the Recording Industry Association of America, after doing a bunch of science and math and other things, they did do their research and ultimately decided that this was the length of a full album that they could sort of support commercially and all that sort of thing. And so at that time, it was, about 15, 17 minutes. And then over the decades, they figured out how to squeeze another 3 to 5 or so per side and everything. And nowadays, we can go pretty much edge to edge with some drawbacks and pull about 25 minutes or so if we need to on a record side. I think that Radiohead's maybe about 25. So
yeah, I probably wouldn't try to squeeze much more than that because it's going to sound like crap. But yeah, you could get probably about 25.
With some mechanical exceptions due to placement of things like tone arms, we could already be there. Because really, your record needle will go out farther than the turntable and still perfectly read the needle. And so we could be there already, except that it would jam up against some record players and things, of course. So.
Right. I mean, because all record players are designed for 12 and 7-inch or 10-inch, but, that's just right in the middle. So.